Here are today's top news stories and why they matter. We start in Nigeria, where armed gangs have abducted an unknown number of students and teachers from a Catholic school in central Nigeria. The Niger State Police Command said the abductions took place in the early hours of Friday morning. Security forces and the military have been deployed, while local media broadcaster Arise TV estimates that 52 children were taken. Why does this matter? The school kidnappings and an attack on a church earlier this week come weeks after US President Donald Trump threatened military action over what he described as targeted killings of Christians, a narrative rejected by the Nigerian government. Nigerian security forces have been placed on high alert this week as the country faces an uncomfortable spotlight on its security situation. As the situation escalates, President Bola Tinubu has cancelled his trips to South Africa and Angola to coordinate the national response to the deepening security challenges. Still in Nigeria, the United States is weighing sanctions and deeper Pentagon counterterrorism engagement to pressure Nigeria on protecting its Christian communities and religious freedom, a senior State Department official, Jonathan Pratt, said. According to CNN, Nigerian officials are meeting with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Deputy Secretary of State Christopher Landau on Friday. It's unclear what the meeting will focus on, though sources told CNN that there has been willingness from Nigeria to work more closely with the US military. But how is the mood in Nigeria following the threats by the US? Our correspondent Shinaza Samuel tells us more.
There is a growing mix of anger, worry and anxiety as concerns over insecurity in parts of the country intensify. Recent abductions in schools, including a Catholic institution, have further heightened tensions. US officials continue to describe the attacks and killings as acts of religious persecution. After US President Donald Trump's statement that Christians in Nigeria are being targeted, there are talks in the US Congress of a possible military intervention. Some Christian groups have echoed these concerns, while the Nigerian government strongly rejects them. The Nigerian government insists that the violence affects both Christians and Muslims and is driven by terrorism and banditry, not a coordinated religious agenda. Nigerians are desperate for a stronger security, a nation where people can live without fear. Children can attend schools safely, and everyone can worship freely, regardless of tribe or religion.
And finally, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has met with leaders of the European Council and Commission on the sidelines of the G20 summit in Johannesburg. Despite the US boycott dominating the headlines, the three signed major investment deals, calling their partnership highly reliable. DW correspondent Tuso Kumalo reports.
Just on the eve of South Africa's G20 presidency's G20 Leaders Summit in Johannesburg, the European Union Commission EU has given its full backing to South Africa's G20 presidency. Speaking in Johannesburg on Thursday after a meeting with President Cyril Ramaphosa, both the EU President Ursula von der Leyen and the President of the European Union Council, Antonio Costa, described South Africa as a highly trusted partner and announced a total of €750 million in investments in South Africa. Here is what South Africa's president said about the partnership.
We've characterized this relationship as a mature relationship, a relationship that is predictable, that is reliable, and that is based on trust. And we are very pleased as South Africa to have a partner like the EU.
Meanwhile, the US has denied South Africa's claims that it has made a U-turn and now wants to participate in the G20 summit. But South Africa has immediately responded, saying it will not hand over the G20 presidency to a junior US official. While the US and South Africa are further drifting apart, the EU is taking up the spot of being South Africa's largest trading partner.
And that wraps up today's news. If you want more sharp analysis and news from across the continent and beyond, subscribe to our YouTube channel, that is DW Africa. Thank you for watching. I'm Okeri Ngushinado.